38% of people have a less favourable opinion of Harry than a year ago. And interestingly, Adam, even his home crowd, millennials, 18 to 24s, 23% of people have a less favourable opinion of him than before. It's been a nightmare year for Harry.
So you've got two sort of interesting things there. So one is that we're talking about change in popularity versus absolute popularity. And the overall kind of picture of like absolute popularity of the royals is you've got, as I said, you've got, the King and Prince William and I get this right, Princess Kate at the top. Nobody really sort of dislikes them. Then you've got the various sort of anonymous royals that people don't really hear anything about, who just kind of trade off the brand of the institution. And then you go down a bit and you've got Harry and Meghan, who they are sort of net neutral among, I think, 18 to 24s. 18 to 24s don't really care that much in one way or another. Most of the answers they give are sort of slightly favourable or slightly unfavourable. And then you go several rungs down the ladder and you have Prince Andrew for obvious reasons. So I think that the story really is that the people who are most sort of keen on the royal family as an institution are the ones who've paid the most attention to it and had the most strong opinions about it. And they're obviously not really that in favour of what Harry and Meghan have been doing. What would be really interesting, though, and this is something which we may try and do, is to do an equivalent poll in the US, because watching any of that Netflix documentary, that's very, very clearly the target audience for that is building up their brand there and sort of slightly sort of trashing this country by association.
Adam, one final question before you go. It makes for grim reading for Rishi Sunak and the Conservative Party. Are our findings in line with all of your polls and what's out there? And is there any way back for Rishi out of this, do you think, at the moment?
So generally what we see on like the headline voting intention is there's a bit of a range there. It normally coalesces around about a sort of like 20-point lead. So people polling tend to have the biggest Labour leads. I think they had about sort of 24 points in this one. And where I work at Opinion, we have the smallest leads because of the slightly different sort of methodology approach that we have. But the point really is that even the best poll for the Conservatives at the moment is not an election-winning position and points to kind of a steep mountain for them to climb. I think in choosing Rishi Sunak, they probably got the best option there just because he is much more popular than the rest of his party. It's the fact that the party he's leading is really unpopular. One thing, though, is that on the small votes issue, which you also had some numbers on, and the fact that nobody has any sort of faith in the government to do this, there's sort of a split opinion on this, in that on the one hand they're drawing attention to something which they are not seen as very competent on, but one other view of that is that the only direction there really is up, given that so few people have a view that the government's going to be able to do anything about that. I think if they're able to demonstrate any sort of progress on that at all, anything tangible, then it's hard to see how their ratings there could get worse.